Okay, so moving forward, what we ended up doing was we cut that ground that came off of here, which was a green. We spliced the white and brown going out through the other end of the firewall. And I had to cut this red one, and that's the one that's going to the switch in the kick panel here. So those are the ones that we had to cut for the command start to remove the dash. And the one plug that we ended up forgetting to disconnect was this is the OBD reader from the bottom of the dash there. So I had to unplug this, and now we finally got the dash out of the way. So our heater core is somewhere in there, and now we got to move to the firewall side, and we got to remove some stuff on that side. So now here on the other side, we're going to remove our overflow jug. We're going to remove our battery. We're going to get some room in here, see what we got to do. And I think what happens is there's going to be some screws on the firewall holding that whole heater housing assembly to the firewall from the inside. The bolts will be on the outside. So on the firewall side here, we've got 3 bolts or 3 nuts to remove. There's one down there, one right here, and one right there, one right there. So there's those 3. Then we have our 2 hoses to disconnect from the heater core itself. There's this little rubber knob or whatever. I just pushed that back into the hole. I don't know what that's all about right now. And then we have to disconnect our air conditioning over here. And that's on the firewall side. Now, in here on the inside the vehicle, we've got one fastener there, and we have one fastener there. So you disconnect all of those, and now that thing should be able to come out. Before attempting this job, you should have taken this vehicle to a facility where they could evacuate your air conditioning, because you need to disconnect these air conditioning lines to do this job. And the proper way to do it is have a shop evacuate the system, and then after you've done everything, you can take it back and get it recharged. Some of these old vehicles, the air conditioning is not working. Maybe all of the refrigerant has leaked out, whatever. So first thing is you need to take a look and find out what you're dealing with. And what we got here is an R134. And I'll include some information on an MSDS sheet. So you want to make sure that no matter what the situation is, that your workspace is ventilated really well. This one is, it's the fumes. So when you're checking, if your air conditioner isn't working, you think the system is drained or empty or whatever, you've got, these are your 2 lines. This is what you're disconnecting. You got a 10 mil for this one. You got a 8 mil for this one here. You're going to disconnect it here, and you're going to disconnect it there to remove it, get it out of the way. And you're going to have to remove this motor mount that we had in there from the other part of the job. Now you got to remove it again to get this line out. The large line is low pressure side. The small line is the high pressure side. There is a Schrader valve, however you pronounce that, similar to a tire right here. So now when you want to, before disconnecting anything, you want to make sure there's no pressure in there. So take the precautions. What I did was I used an Allen wrench to check this, and had a rag over top with the Allen wrench poking through. And when I went, so if there's anything in there, it's going to get caught by the rag. I'm wearing something to protect my face, gloves and a mask just in case, because it's those fumes that are the bad thing. And keep the place really good ventilated, and make sure that you're not giving yourself any trouble with that, disconnecting that line, and you should be good. So we got the heater box out here. One last thing you got to take apart is there's an aluminum block with these two screws. That's a T27 Torx. Here's what that aluminum block looks like. You got electrical unplugged. Those are the T25 Torx. That bolts into the heater box, and then this hose assembly bolts onto that block. We found in our case that our vacuum line was previously broken, so probably gonna have to make a repair for that. Here's the heater core here. These are the 3 fasteners on the firewall side. There was the drain, and there was just a little rubber hose with a pinch clamp to take off of there. And then on the other side, this was that bolt on the inside, and then we had another bolt right here. And there was also a piece of plastic to remove from here. I think that one goes up to the dash for the defrost. So now that we got this out, we can take the top half off. So the first thing I did was I peeled off all those connectors there. It's just a rubber or foam seal for where it connects. And we got one here. It looks like I might have missed one right there. And then on the front we have one here and one right there. One here and one right there. Then as we go around taking all these screws out all the way around, there's a lot of them. Just go all the way around, you'll find them, get them. This one here, there's 2 hidden ones underneath it here. So that goes in there. There's this one here that you're gonna have to get at with like a 1/4 inch ratchet or something. Or if you choose to remove this to get at that. Once this is popped off, then you can get at these 2. And then I'm gonna try and get some flathead screwdrivers and work my way around and gently pry the top off. Here it is all tore apart here. If the top is not coming off easily, you've missed a screw somewhere. I missed one. Once I found it and got it out, then the top came off real easy. It actually looks pretty good inside here. We've got a little bit of crap to blow out and clean out of there. Not very much, you know, all things considered. And clean this thing all up. The heater core itself actually looked like it was in pretty good shape. Didn't show any physical leaks on the outside. But when I had flushed it, it was pretty rusty, and a bunch of garbage was coming out of that heater core on both ways. I flushed it both ways. I flushed it forwards and backwards. So this is all tore apart here. We're going to clean it up, and we're going to start reassembling it. Just going to blow out the condenser, blow all that crap out of there, and clean it all up in here and put it back together.